Happy Easter and welcome to the Wesley Show. I hope you had a wonderful time with your family on Sunday. Wesley, how was your Easter day? Well, Marjorie, I had a great Easter. Really enjoyed the service that was streamed from St. George's, especially that beautiful montage at the end of all the beautiful members of the parish. Really did enjoy the service and the music, very uplifting. It was a bit of a rainy day and, kind of a lot of time, kind of like chewing stuff on the carpet. But other than that, yeah, glorious day. I did want to mention that, that art that we looked at on Good Friday, that was really helpful, to sort of visualize, if you will, the moments of Jesus' life. And I've been thinking that, it'd be sort of helpful to see some pictures of Jesus resurrected, because it's kind of hard to imagine, what he was like resurrected. And as they say, seeing is believing. And so I wondered if we could look at some art, some pictures of Jesus, after his resurrection. Well, that's a great question. And yes, we do have some beautiful paintings of how artists have imagined the resurrected Jesus. Of course, we didn't have any photography then, so there are no photographs of Jesus resurrected, but we do have paintings. And it's interesting you say, seeing is believing. That is something that is very central to the understanding of Scripture, and particularly to a man named Paul, who said the fact that people saw Jesus resurrected was the central message of the gospel. He says, that was the gospel. That's what I received, that people saw Jesus. He appeared to Mary, to the women, to Peter. He appeared to all the disciples at once. He appeared even to over 500 people at one point. And these resurrection accounts are really the reason that we have the gospel today, was because of that. And there's a particular one, especially as you say, seeing is believing, I want us to look at right now. It's by Caravaggio, and it actually is a painting of a moment that happens. All of Jesus' disciples actually were gathered, and they saw Jesus except for one of them, whose name was Thomas. And so all the disciples were talking about how they'd seen Jesus, but Thomas hadn't. And so when he got back together with them, he said, I am not going to believe this unless I see it. And this is a painting that we're going to go look at that is of the moment when Jesus comes back and shows Thomas. So let's go take a look. See if we can get this up here on our screen. There it is. Beautiful. Yeah, see, here's Jesus and Thomas and the other disciples. And I'm going to actually read for us from the Gospel of John, which is where Caravaggio got the idea for the painting. Now Thomas, one of the 12, called the twin, was not with them when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, we have seen the Lord. But he said to them, unless I see in his hands the mark of the nails, place my finger into the mark of the nails, and place my hand into his side, I will never believe. 8 days later, his disciples were inside again, and Thomas was with them. Although the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, peace be with you. Then he said to Thomas, put your finger here and see my hands, and put out your hand and place it in my side.
Do not disbelieve, but believe." Thomas answered him, "My Lord and my God." Jesus said to him, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." So what do you think, Wesley? Was that, what do you think of that painting? Well, I have to say, I kind of understand where Thomas is coming from. Hard to believe something you haven't seen, and yet I was interested in how Jesus was with Thomas. He didn't get angry or anything. He kind of said, "Yeah, Thomas, I get where you're coming from. I understand that, that you need to see me and even see the scars, to understand." But then Jesus says that one day there will be people, and I guess in my case, in dogs, who will believe even though they haven't physically seen. And Jesus says that is a blessed thing. So, I guess it can be scary to believe something that other people think, is dumb, and, you can't prove it or anything. But I guess I know enough about Jesus to know that I can believe in him and that he was raised from the dead. Well, that's a beautiful testimony. Wesley, thank you for sharing your belief, even though you haven't seen. But we're also thankful to the artist Caravaggio and his imagination in thinking about this very moment, what it would be like when you had not believed to see and know for sure.